when you get that shot before they do these types of procedures, eventually you don't feel anything in that particular area where they gave you the shot. Now, given what you know, so let's do this. Okay, so we're going to put all of these in the same family. So lidocaine, okay, novocaine, cocaine. I'm not saying that to be funny. I mean, I really mean cocaine. I think there's 2 C's in cocaine, isn't it? Doesn't matter. You guys know what it is. All right. Those things are all in the same family. And what those things are going to do, you tell me what you think they're going to do. So given what we know. So, you know what, let's just do this. When that dentist is doing his or her thing, that's the stimulus. So when that dentist has those big pair of pliers in their hand, and they're ripping bone out of your jaw in the form of your tooth, the pliers ripping, that's the stimulus. The pain receptors, obviously. All right? Now, the novocaine was given first, but you don't feel anything. But the stimulus is certainly there, right? It's a very big stimulus. But what's not happening here, so the stimulus is huge. Okay? Big stimulus, in this particular case. And I want you to know this specifically. I'm going to show you what's going to happen here. That's threshold. Did we reach threshold? So what should have happened? If we reach threshold and if it's a neuron, what should happen? We should get an action potential. Did I draw on the action potentials in this picture? That's why you don't feel any pain. You don't feel pain because there's something that went wrong with the receptor, for example. You're not feeling pain because no action potentials are being generated, but we're still reaching threshold. And by the way, specifically, tell me what happens at threshold. What's so magical about threshold? What are the 2 channels that are involved when it comes to an action potential in a neuron? Voltage-gated sodium channels and potassium channels. So given that knowledge that you have, and knowing that when you hit threshold, these particular channels are going to open, what do you think that novocaine does, or lidocaine does, when you're given that shot? What does it do? It keeps those channels from opening. That's how they work. It doesn't stop threshold from being reached, it stops those channels from opening. So when it comes to these types of things, they prevent opening of voltage-gated sodium channels. If those voltage-gated sodium channels don't open, you cannot have an action potential. You can't have the fast depolarization. It isn't going to happen. That's how they work. And I want you to know that. Everybody has seen a police show, I'm going to assume, and maybe they arrested a drug dealer, and they found in his or her car or whatever a big white bag, or a bag of white powder. What do? They don't have a kid on hand, what do? Don't they dip their little pinky in it? They taste it? They're not tasting the cocaine. What do you think the cocaine is going to do to the tip of their tongue? It will make it numb. That's why they taste the cocaine. Not tasting it. They want to see if it makes the tongue numb. Why? Because cocaine is in the same family as those. And cocaine, topically, it's not how it works in the brain, but topically, what it's going to do is numb stuff that it touches. That's what they're doing. So it's not just TV shows, they really do that in real life, and I want you to know that. And actually, cocaine, believe it or not, is actually used in some surgeries to numb a particular area of the body. Ironically, nose surgeries, eye surgeries. It's not as common as it used to be, but cocaine is actually used clinically in some surgeries to numb areas of the body during the surgery. And again, it's typically the nose and eyes. All right? So know how cocaine, novocaine, cocaine, lidocaine, know how they work. That's how they work. So again, if all of this does not work perfectly, if there's something wrong with the receptors, by the way, then from that point on, things aren't going to work. If there's something wrong with this area of the brain, if those neurons are not responding properly, if they're not integrating the information, it ain't happening. You'll get the action potentials there. Everything up until that point is going to work. You'll have the action potentials getting there. But if those neurons are not working properly and cannot interpret the information, it ain't happening. Everything has to work perfectly. It almost always does. There are some diseases out there where some people don't have pain receptors. You guys know who, there's the coach for the Indianapolis Colts, Dungy. Those of you that follow football, he's retired now, he's an analyst now on Fox. He used to be the coach for the Indianapolis Colts probably about a decade ago or so. They adopted a son, little boy, and they didn't know this at first, but this little boy walked up to a hot stove, put his hands on it, and didn't flinch. He didn't have pain receptors anymore. You don't have the receptors to begin with. He's not going to feel the pain. His hands were singed. They could smell burning skin. But he had this rare genetic condition where pain receptors were absent from his body. And that's dangerous as hell. And I'm going to tell you why when we get to pain, when we get to a different category of receptor after the break. Okay, so let's take a break. When we come back, we'll continue our story. Tony Dungy, that's his name.